Ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only, my Jersey native, Gina Thompson. How are you doing this evening?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I don't complain. I really don't. So I'm just grateful to be breathing
Mhm.
and I'm good. I'm good.
Is
Yep.
there any plans for on July 4th?
Besides exercising and getting my act together,
Mhm.
I might eat a rib or two.
Okay.
No, actually, I might be doing a little something with my neighbors across the
Mhm.
street. I do have one of my siblings that's going to be hanging out with me. And my family. So yeah, we'll probably do a little something, nothing too big. Trying to really cut back on a lot of things. And it's so hard to do that when the weather's so nice. But,
Exactly.
but yeah, so how about yourself?
I'll be going to my cousin's house for a barbecue, and that's about it. So
Okay,
small and nice. So,
there you go. I love your background.
oh, thank you.
Oh my God, you're so welcome. That is so
Yes, I
money.
appreciate it.
Yeah, you're
So,
welcome.
So let's take it back to November 10th when Gina was born in Jersey. How was it like growing up in Jersey and in your household? Who influenced you when it came to music?
First off, let me say somebody did their homework. Like what? When you said November 10th, I was
uh,
like, did something happen that day?
uh,
Yeah, your girl was born.
yes,
Um, so yes, so I was born November 10th, and we'll keep that year to ourselves.
yes.
And I was born in Vineland, New Jersey, which is deep South Jersey. A lot of people's like Vineland. Well, if you know Camden and what other places, and I say that because it's close to Camden,
Right.
but it's a different. Camden is Camden County. I live in Cumberland County. Like if you're going towards real much further south of Camden,
Mm.
like if you're heading down to the beach, Wildwood, around in that area. Some people are
Okay.
familiar with Bridgeton.
Mm.
So that's Cumberland County, but that's where I was born and raised. And I was born into a pretty big family. It was eight of us. God bless it, six of us now. One of my sisters has went on to with the Lord as well. One of my brothers,
Oh my condolences.
and both of my parents have as well. So, born and raised, yep, in New Jersey, and my everybody in my family, for the most part, they sang or did something with music. My mom and dad both sang, and both of them come from musically inclined, family as well. So we were born and raised in the country, if you will, East Violin, and brought up in the church. And of course, my mother was like, y'all would be singing in the church, you
Yeah.
know. So I sang in a lot of choirs in school, church. And then eventually, as people started learning that, I could do solo, I branched out into that area. And that was with the likes of, or should I say, with the help of my brother
Yes.
and a couple of other relatives of mine, kind of pushing me into that solo world, eventually leading me to meet, Rodney Jerkins, who did produce my first album. And what I'll do is, because with me, when I talk, if you haven't noticed, I will keep going. So sometimes
Okay.
I
No,
have to stop.
no, you're good.
Okay, because sometimes I have to stop to let people get their questions
Right.
in.
So,
So, but yeah, so that's kind of what landed me to the whole, like I said, solo deal, um, and getting into the music industry again by Rodney Jerkins, and then that's where my, solo R&B career,
right.
kind of branched off back in '96.
Right,
Yeah.
because usually when kids graduate high school, they go on to college, but not Gina. Gina got her first a record deal from Mercury Records once she graduated. So how was that experience like? And where were you?
Uh-huh. So believe it or not, I actually did start college after high school, but I was so caught up into my first son, father, first love, and
Yeah.
so all in love, and yeah. So I just kind of like stepped out of that college and end up getting pregnant with my son. my first blessing. And then so then after that was kind of like where things started. Two at the time when I got my first record deal, did have my son at 20. And I signed with Mercury Records in beginning of 96. I almost said the summer of 96, but the first single came out.
Right.
So I got my deal in 96. And because Rodney and myself had done so much work at his home, we literally had to just kind of go right to New York to just kind of, put the album together. And we knocked that album out in like less than a month. I mean, Rodney is super incredible and fast, and and believe it or not, even though that was like my first time really being in a studio. I was able to, gain comfort so quickly, and I kind of moved quickly as well. So it worked very well for us, and I was thankful for that. And so after the album was completed, my A&R at the time was Bruce Carbone at the label. Him as well as others like really loved the finished product. And of course, Puff Daddy being hot at the time, they all thought it would be a really good idea to, let's see if we can get Puffy to do a remix of this.
And so whose idea was it to make the remix the lead single?
It was a mutual thing. We love the outcome. Yeah, so they took the original Things You Do, and thank you for saying that. The original Things You Do was definitely done by Rodney, of course. Right. And people really didn't know of that one. The one that most people know is the remix that Puffy did do. Right. So going back to your question, it was kind of like a mutual thing. Bruce was like, let's just see what Puffy can do. Rodney was so for it, hands down. Puffy was banging at the time. Yep. So once we heard that finished product, I think most votes was like, let's just get this out there. And then Missy putting her spin on it. Yep. It was like hands down, because she was up and coming, hands down. And we knew with Puffy's blessing on that piece, we knew it would, probably do something really well. So Puffy even said to the label, listen, you guys got a definite hit here. It's up to you after this point. And so there we have it.
And so everyone knew that it was Gina featuring Missy and it was a Puff remix. But what people don't know is 112 did the background vocals.
They did do some background vocals. And you know what I need to do? Thank you so much. What I need to do is really start giving them more of a shout out, because I often forget they blessed that track on. They actually did background vocals on the bridge.
Yes.
So the oohs and ahs and absolutely. Additionally, what people don't know about it is when I did work on the song prior to recording it, 112 actually sat and helped me with the arrangement. Oh, wow. And then and that's another thing that I really need to start talking more about, because they played a huge part in the finished product. And then Rodney wasn't in the studio when we did, I don't think it was so long ago. I don't think every session, but I do know for the most part that 112 definitely was there, and we worked on arranging it together. And Duran, gosh, I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Him and Slim did they did quite a bit, as far as like chipping in with the arrangement. And yes, and the answer to your question, or to solidify what you verbalized, yes, they definitely did backgrounds on my bridge. You got it.
So your debut album turns 27 on August the 13th. So how do you plan on celebrating? Because that's your baby right there.
What I want to say is okay, let me just take this all in for just a minute. Okay. I want to say you did some serious homework. I must say that again. And it's such an honor. Like, you really, you spit numbers out. Were you good at math?
No, but music is my passion. Like, I love music.
Yeah, it's obvious. It's so obvious. And I want to thank you too for your patience for waiting, because I know that it's been a minute. You reached out to me, I believe, a couple of times, my husband mentioned. But nevertheless, I didn't even keep track. So for you
Mm.
saying the 27th anniversary, it's what it is.
Yep.
20. Wow. Like that's amazing. So thank you for telling me that. And your question, I lost your question now because I'm so like in awe.
Uh,
What
how do you plan on celebrating?
Wow, geez, that is something to think about because again, I didn't. I just know that every summer that passes by, I'm like, oh, there's another year that has gone by. So honestly, I have to sneeze. Oh my gosh, and I hate when this happens. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Hopefully it'll come out soon. Bear with me. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. Good thing we're not live, but then this will be live, or maybe it is live. I don't even know. So nevertheless, it's all good. This is all real. So I guess it passed by, but if it comes later, excuse me.
You're good.
So nevertheless, every year that passes by, I'm just so thankful for it. And I just thank God for just blessing me with another year. So as far as it doing any special celebration, again, just giving him the thanks and all my fans and, people that continue to support and love me and, play my song because that is such an honor to
Yes.
have my single 20 plus years later rocking. Like, my first son was a newborn and now I have two more kids and years later, two
Of
decades
course.
plus later, almost 3 decades later, and it is a blessing, to just hear that song when I'm still in the clubs, or not that I'd be in the clubs like that, but perfect example is my husband's birthday is in February.
Yeah.
So it's a good Valentine. He's right before Valentine's Day. So myself, him, and a few others went out, to hang out in Maryland area, stayed out, went partying. And then the next day we all went for breakfast. And I kid you not, I forgot the name of the restaurant. Amazing though. They actually were playing my song. And I just, I don't take those moments for granted. I just say, Lord, I thank you. It's just another blessing. So again, going back to the response to your question, I'm just going to simply thank God, and I think that's the greatest celebration. Just giving him the thank you and my fans that continue to support me. The followers, I'm getting so many great followers on the Real Gina Thompson IG page. Hint, hint.
And
So
and so you had
yeah.
the hottest song out the summer of '96. So it's one thing that you had the song, then the video came out with Biggie. Because I remember back in the day in New York, girls just walking down the street like Gina Thompson and just bopping to it.
Yeah.
So whose idea? So did you collaborate with what's the director? Is Andres?
Man, he was so dope. I don't even. I know that's him. I don't even
Yes.
ask for the last name, but that is him, Andres Maher or
Yes.
something,
Yeah.
something like that. Look, you pulling the webs out. Wow, this is an awesome interview. Yes, I'm loving it. This is you really, yeah. It's so obvious that you do your homework and research. So that's really dope because you're helping me remember. So,
So
but yeah, your question. I'm sorry.
and so did you have an input as far as the video concept?
To be honest with you, I did not, but at the same token, it wasn't such a huge concept, if that makes sense. There were some ideas, of course, he was like, okay, we kind of just want to have her walking down the street.
Yeah.
Okay. And here, you know what, Biggie and Puffy sit on this bench. And then let's go in here. And you know what, Gina, just kind of sit on this couch and kind of do whatever. Because you can, and as you can see, there's really not much to that video.
Right.
Not that I'm discrediting the video, but,
Right.
I mean, I could have had a little bit more. But anyway, so the video itself, he gave me like general ideas, but what I did was I took it and I kind of owned it. And like walking, like he didn't have to tell me how to walk. I just, naturally did the walk, and I did it on purpose. And it was like, okay, your guy is up there in this room and you're waiting for him to come down. So kind of like when you hang the phone up, look up and, so kind of like those things. No, I'm sorry. He didn't even say all of that. He just was like, your man is up there or whatever. So it was like kind of when I hung the phone up, I kind of looked up there. So it was like I didn't direct it, but I did I kind of just took ownership of it and then just had fun with it. And the same thing on the couch scene, the chair, whatever you want to call it. I just was, just trying to just be cute, and the same thing riding on the car. Now we're just going to ride down, They didn't have to basically micromanage me, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
So,
Okay. And so you released your second album in 1999 in September. But so what happened between the record label and the album?
Okay. So are we talking, you did
If you
mention the
only
second.
if you only knew album.
Okay, so so if you're only new, so you want to know what happened after the single came out?
I know
Yeah.
I know that you had two singles, one with Missy and one with Beanie Siegel.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and then
let me clarify that, and thank you for bringing that up. So with my second album titled "If You Only Knew," yes, it was on Elektra, Goldmine/Elektra. Basically, the first single that came out off of there featured Missy as well, and it was titled "Yada Yada," written by Eric Roberson and produced by Vidal Davis. That was with Jazzy Jeff Camp at that time. And so that song came out. The Beanie Siegel, Caught Up featuring Beanie Siegel. I wrote Caught Up, but that never was released. And it's funny because there has been mixed, words about, hey, your second single with Beanie Siegel, that was nice. I wish they would have pushed it. I think what happened, what happens with a lot of scenarios, my album unfortunately got shelved. And so people that were just getting, leaks or whatever of the album, they started just downloading whatever and picking songs that they liked. And it seemed like Caught Up was that one, and a couple of one of the John B songs and one of Shep Crawford's songs was the ones that I started hearing people talking about. But Caught Up was a big one. So people started assuming that Caught Up featuring Beanie Siegel was my second single. And it never did come out. The only one that Elektra put out was Yada Yada featuring Missy. And that did have a video. And what was your other question? I'm sorry. I think it was a two-part question.
But because I know that you parted ways with the label. So did it have to do with the lack of promotion with the album, or?
Yeah. So with that being said, and I want to go back a little bit further because I parted from Elektra as well.
Yeah.
Neither of the labels dropped me. And that's another thing I want to clear up, because people say that she got dropped from the label. They shelved the albums, and doesn't necessarily, now would they had eventually dropped me? I don't know. But I got out of the deals, basically it was a mutual thing. Mercury, for those reasons, I left that label and moved on over to another deal with Elektra. And unfortunately, a lot of things was going on with Elektra at that time. I was not the only artist that got quote unquote shelved. And so by that time, I think I was just so mentally burnt out, and just personally just had my feelings on my shoulders. And I was like, you know what? Enough of this. Asked my attorney, please try to get me off the deal. But of course, try to help me get money with this as well, because I knew at that point I was going to just focus on my son and then just get my mindset back together, because so much just started happening. And I believe I really got lost out there. Because that music industry, listen, if you don't have a tight support system, or if you're just not, I don't want to make it seem like I was mentally unstable, but at the same token, there was some form of instability there, because depression had set in. And then that's a whole nother life, and a whole nother story for me that I used to not even speak about, but now I speak all about it, because I realize, and I've been told by so many people, and I'm praying to God that I'm able to help others. How my story has helped so many people, letting people know that they're not alone in that. But not to branch off so much into that, going back to the whole Elektra deal. So I had asked my attorney to just take me off, see if they can just let me go, because they're shelving the album. I don't know what's coming out, or if another single's coming out. And again, there was a lot of competition there too. And I just kind of felt like, things just started falling apart. And it was one of them things where it was like crickets, where you were trying to figure out, why is it shelved? What's going on? And no one's giving you any answers. And even the manager that I had at that time, we heard a few things, but nevertheless, I'm not gonna say I don't think, I know. I never got the answers from the people that I wanted to get the answers from, even to this day. And I am actually okay with that. I've just moved on. Again, I'm not the first artist that has happened to, and I know I will not be the last. And one of the best things that I can just share with people that are trying to get in the industry or has any type of deal, one of the biggest things you want to make sure that you do is, just stay on top of your business.
Yes.
Try not to mix personal with business. I really got my feelings caught up in so much stuff. And there's even so much more to say, but to sum that up and give like the most brief synopsis of what happened to me, it's pretty much that in a nutshell. You know what I mean? And it was like, okay, Gina, step back, get your son, be a mother, and get your stuff together. Yes. Because this world didn't make you, but you're letting them break you. And God is the one who has given me what I still have, but I was letting man destroy me, if that makes any sense.
It does.
So I had lost so much. I mean, oh my gosh, I went into such a deep depression. But nevertheless, that's where I ended up coming off the label. And I had even took a detour and pursued another career.
Oh, okay. So that's why you took a break up until 2008, and then you came back with the dance hall remix. So for the song, we don't talk no more. So you came back with the dance hall. So what made you go towards the dance hall route?
Okay, yes. Once again, this guy has got 108 plus. All righty, brother. Okay, so with that being said, after being gone for a while, I had a couple of friends that had reached out to me and was like, Roderick Millwood, whom is the owner of the Laugh House in Philadelphia. He does a number of other things. He's very low key in the cut, but the man is absolutely phenomenal and does so many different things. Has his own label, even has a deal with another major label out there. But nevertheless, at that time, I was introduced to him, and we went ahead into his studio in Philly, and had recorded actually a few songs. Unfortunately, we couldn't agree with certain terms. No hard feelings. Right. And then I think also with myself, again, I kind of went on another emotional roller coaster, and I just was kind of like, you know what? No, I just really need to just chill out and just focus on other things, because I still was so very bruised, and he's such a great man. And even to this day, he's still so very there for me. Believe it or not, we were even considering maybe in the near future, possibly still doing some collaboration. He is still so very there for me. So that went on to, I didn't even know that was even released or leaked out there. Yeah. I had found that out not too long ago, maybe about a couple of years or so ago. And so I had asked him about that, but that's a whole nother conversation. So nevertheless, I'm like, dude, if you were going to put it out there, we should have had a really good mix on that, because everything you guys heard, none of that was finished. It was, We Don't Talk No More. The variety of mixes, again, none of the vocals were done or mixed, mastered, whatever you want to call it. Missing You was another one. I'll Get There wasn't even done at all. I mean, like vocally. And then I think that might have been it. I think we did like 3 tracks. So I was a little frustrated with that, but I was like, it's out there now. But I was like, it's not a good look. After that second album, to come back and to bring like a half project, and then there's no promotion, and like, what's going on here? So that was that. Then I really, really at that point said, you know what, I'm just going a different route here altogether. I'm definitely just gonna just switch gears, like totally altogether. So I actually became a registered nurse. And yeah. And so, and I still am to this day. And I absolutely love it. There's no shame in my game. When I tell you it has taught me so much, yes. It truly, truly has. And I absolutely love my profession. I love it so much that I'll soon be a nurse practitioner. I completed my classes. Yes. And I'm super excited about it. And my focus is mental health. And I am such an advocate for mental health. And a lot of it has to do with my journey.
Yes.
So
And through your journey, you've inspired so many individuals, and also you've paved the way for so many artists. So that's why this particular platform is called Press Rewind, because I want to pay homage and give flowers to those artists that paved way for today's artists. So for all your fans that have supported you, what would you like to say to them?
Oh my goodness. I mean, none other than thank you, and thank you. I cannot do this without you all. When I say we artists, we need our fans, and we're so appreciative. I know that I very much am. There are people, and this is a special shout out to those that never left me. Even when I was gone, they were still there, just waiting for my, return, or just at least wanting to know where I was. So I think that's why I got so much love when I did Pass the Mic in March of 2021. It was such a great honor to be a part of the DJ
Yes.
Cassie, Pass the Mic, and also to reconnect with Missy. So that was really, really nice to have that reconnection. And then again, just kind of getting back. And that was like the stem of, bam, girl, you know what? You're in a much better place right now. Even though I'm older, it doesn't even matter, because I'm seeing people out there my age and older getting it, because at one
Right.
time I was just like, yeah, nah, but no. If you look online, you're seeing these old school tours and whatever the case may be. And the fact that God still has, blessed me, I still have the blessing from God, I'm like, you know what? If people are still interested in wanting to work with me, why not? I'm in a much better place mentally now. I'm just in a much better place overall. I have a wonderful husband. My children are supportive. I have, a good support system, and I know who I am now, and I'm so at peace.
Yes.
So with all that being said, again, back to my fans, like, I thank you all for those of you who just never gave up on me, believed in me, and those who still believe in me. And I believe there's some believers to come. So I am sincerely thanking you for all of your support. God bless you. And let's do this.
Yes. And I want to personally give you your flowers because you deserve it. Because like you mentioned about the old school concerts and everything, the only reason that the old school concerts are so successful is because the body of craft that you guys put out, it was perfection, and it was timeless music that you can continue to tour. And an artist like you is, I want you guys to embed that in these new artists, because 50 years from now, the quality of music that these artists are putting out, they can't go on tour with it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It's very minimal, right? Very minimal.
Yes.
That's what I hear a lot. That's what I hear a lot. And believe it or not, like, I'm not going to say that I don't listen to the radio. I do listen to the radio, but I also just try to really stay tuned into myself, because you can get so lost out there.
Yes, you can.
And I've realized that people are always going to have an opinion and have something to say. Compare me to this person, or what is she trying to do, whatever. So what I try to do is I try to feed off of course, the positive.
Yes.
Those that are appreciative of me, those that are, want to hear from me. I try to pay attention and stay surrounded and show by those and that energy, and give that back. Because if not, what's going to happen is, like I said to you a few moments ago, you can easily get lost.
Yes.
In that environment, in that stuff. And I just don't have time for it. So I stay locked into where I'm at and moving forward. And I pray to God that he continues to allow me to be a blessing to others in more ways than one, however he sees fit for it to be done, to just allow me to. And again, whatever I speak from the heart. People try to give me scripts to say on stuff. I won't do it, because I have to speak from the heart and my mind. I don't do well trying to process someone else's time log. I'm sorry. I just got to go from my heart and let God just, he is my driver. And don't get me wrong, there's certain things that, yes, I do say, shout out, whatever the case may be. Yes. But when it comes to talking about my journey, you don't know it like me.
Exactly.
So that's why I say I have to, it's either people are going to love me or they're not. And either way, I'm okay with it because the man upstairs is who I'm going home to at the end of the day, or when my life is over, rather. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yep.
he's the one that I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? So that's my perspective. And, some may like it. Like I said, some may not, but I am who I am. And I love to, like I said, bless others. I love to help others. That's my nature,
Yes.
and I love it. And I do want to give a shout out though to Infinity. That is the label that I'm currently on. It's a Web3 label. Please go to the Real Gina Thompson IG page. Learn more about NFTs. It's a great thing. I believe that it's going to take over the industry in the near future, sooner rather than later. And NFTs does stand for non-fungible tokens. And I myself, I'm still novice in learning, but it is very, very interesting, and it's a very, very lucrative platform. Artists can do more for themselves. They can earn more. And I don't mean just artists, people that sing or rap. It's an artistry. It's something that if you could just have a gift or some type of art or work or whatever the case may be, NFTs is like an investment. And so as an artist, we're an investment. And I just encourage people to, try to learn more about it. Very, very interesting. And it's going to drive the industry soon. It definitely is. And more artists today are, I'm beginning to learn that more artists are starting to learn more about it. Some of them already on. I believe Snoop is already on it. There's a couple of others. I even think Shanice is on it.
Okay.
And yeah, and that's just to name a couple. And I think because I saw them mention of such, on their posts, because I do follow both.
Mhm.
And so I encourage people. That could be a whole nother conversation. And it is kind of deep to learn,
Yes.
but once you lock the concept of it and believe in it, it's definitely a good look. Yeah. So shout out to Infinity. Shout out to my family, fans, friends, everyone. Just shout out to you all.
Thank you. And it's
Yeah.
been a pleasure, and I love you and continue much
Thank you.
success. Yes.